Obviously, we're all following what happened in Chandler around the municipal airport Tuesday night. And so we wanted to kind of get your take and your expertise on this. You are also a professional pilot, is that correct?
That's correct.
When you learn how to fly a plane, what are the aspects where they tell you, maybe obviously you have to focus the entire time you're flying, but what are the most dangerous parts of a flight?
The most dangerous parts of a flight are always takeoff and landings because that's where you have very little time because of altitude and speed to take any corrective action when something goes wrong. So, and learning to take off and land the airplane is probably about 60% of the training that a pilot has to go through to get their private pilot certificate. So it's a tremendous amount of skill and what we call eye-hand coordination to learn to do that. And then there's a lot of the training that goes in to teach a pilot how to handle emergency situations.
And in terms of handling those emergency situations, how quickly are pilots having to make decisions in those kind of takeoff, landing, or other scenarios?
Well, the studies have shown that most of the time it's going to take about 4 to 6 seconds for a pilot to respond to some sort of emergency in the cockpit. It takes what we call the startle effect, but it takes the human brain about 4 seconds to realize that something has happened that the pilot needs to respond to, and then another couple seconds for the pilot to analyze that and take the appropriate action. And altogether, that's about 6 seconds. And a lot of times when a pilot encounters an engine failure or something, their first response, the startle response, is to kind of freeze or pull back on the controls. And if we are real close to the ground, that's not the correct action because in the case of an engine failure, your airspeed is bleeding off. Your airspeed determines whether the wing generates lift. So a lot of times the correct response is to push. And of course, that just goes against all the instinct that a pilot has to keep the airplane above the ground. So the main thing is fly that airplane. And we teach what's called the ABCs. First thing you do is you go for your airspeed, then you pick up your best point to land, and then if you have time, you go through checklist. And really between about 0 to 500 feet above the ground, your best place to land is really just off in front of the airplane. You don't have a lot of options to go left or right. From that 500 feet to about 1,000 feet above the ground, then your options open up to about 45 degrees either side off of the nose. And on some of our airports, there aren't a lot of good options that's straight ahead. And what we have seen many times is a pilot's impulse is to immediately return back to the airport they just took off from. And that is very, very usually unsuccessful. We call it the impossible turn for a good reason.
Just because there's, maybe not enough time or maybe not enough safe landing places.
Usually not enough altitude and enough airspeed. So what ends up happening is the aircraft in the pilot's attempt to get the airplane back around to the runway, and in the whole time this is happening, the airplane's getting lower and lower and lower. And if they don't keep that airspeed, what happens is they're trying to turn the airplane back around. It ends up in a stall and a spin, and those usually aren't very survivable.
We knew that the NTSB was going to be out at the site this morning. What does that investigation look like?
Well, the NTSB, just about 100% of the time, if there's a fatal accident, will get involved in the investigation. If it's not a fatal accident, then they'll normally hand that over to the local FAA inspectors for this region. That would be the Scottsdale Flight Standards District Office. But when the NTSB investigators come on scene, they're going to look at really three things. I like to say the investigators, when somebody dies, they go to a medical examiner. That will take place in this situation as well. They'll be looking at the pilot, what the pilot did in the last 24, 48, 72 hours. Did he have enough sleep? Were there any preconditions, medical conditions, all those type of factors that might go into the human factor side of this. Then they're going to look at the airplane. So that's the other side of this is they're very good at investigating the clues that are left, even if there is a post-fire like there was here, but there's a lot of evidence that gets left. So they can go through all the pieces. Was the engine running? Uh, if the engine was not running, usually they'll take the engine apart. They have trained people that look at all these things and look for those. They'll look for was the airplane, all 4 points of the airplane at the accident scene, from the propeller to the tail to the wingtips. Was there any control problems before this incident happened? And then the last thing, well, there's really two things. They'll look at the environment, and of course, this being close to the evening, was weather a factor? Were there winds? Was there thunderstorms? Those type of things. Of course, we know last night in the valley it was a fairly nice night, so those things will probably not be a factor. But sometimes, uh, when it's hot, altitude, temperature, all those things can play a factor on the performance of the airplane and the performance of the pilot. So, and then lastly, they'll look at air traffic control. It's probably not anything that's a factor in this accident, but they look at all of them. Of course, we have seen some pretty notable accidents in the last year and a half where air traffic control was a factor, but I don't anticipate that will be the case here. And then sometimes they start looking into these things. They'll bring in experts that might be, if they start seeing an engine problem, well, they'll bring in the expert from the engine manufacturer and say, okay, what was going on here? And of course, the NTSB's goal is not to affix blame, but to find out the cause of the accident so that we can prevent this in the future from happening.
Why are these investigations so important? And it sounds like this is a safety perspective for other pilots out there.
Absolutely. We always learn from the experience or the sad experience of our fellow pilots. And for any one of us, every time I go up and I read an accident like that, I say, there, but for the grace of God, go I, because sometimes they're very, very experienced pilots, and yet they still have problems. So we can never rest on our safety record. We always have to stay vigilant. We always have to train for the unexpected, because it can happen to any one of us at any time.
And you are a part of an FAA safety team, is that correct? Can you explain what that is?
Sure, the FAA safety team is part, we're all volunteers, although there are some FAA employees that are our managers. But what we do is we look at the accident trends and the causes, and then we will focus our training on those areas. For instance, loss of control on takeoffs. Well, that's one of the things that we talk about in our seminars, or controlled flight into terrain at night. We just beginning of this year, we had that slackline incident with the helicopter that took off and flew into the slackline. Well, that was really, a lot of us didn't know anything about slackline. So as part of our mission, our education is to make pilots aware that these slacklines are out there and they exist. And there are now applications that pilots can put on their electronic flight bags or iPads, and it will show where these slack lines are. So we have a lot of seminars that we do. There's courses online that pilots can take, and it's all for promoting safety, because we want everybody to come home safely.
As people see this story, I know we've covered also other plane crashes this year, but it's by far, looking at the numbers, not the deadliest year or the year with the most crashes. I've seen more back in other years. But what's your message to the public as they follow this and wait for the investigation to play out?
Well, the first message is let's not jump to conclusions on this particular accident or any accident, because sometimes what we think is an obvious cause, when the investigators start looking at it, that was not the cause of the accident at all. So, anytime there's a fatal accident, it's probably going to take about 2 years before we find the NTSB's findings and what they say was the cause of the accident. And the other thing that we will look at the statistics, and of course, a rash of accidents at the beginning of the year kind of makes, oh, what's going on with it? But then as we look throughout the year, maybe those things all even out and we go a long time without any accidents. So we look at the data, and again, on our FAA safety team, that's where we focus our safety initiatives. We have to remember that Phoenix uh, and Arizona in general is a very desirable place for general aviation because we have such great weather most of the time. There's a lot of training going on here. There's a lot of people that can fly their airplanes, and one of the things that I want the public to know, owning or flying an airplane is not like somebody that goes out and buys a boat. There's a lot more that goes into flying an airplane, a lot more responsibility, a lot more training, a lot more regulation that goes into flying an airplane. So it's a very regulated uh, activity by the Federal Aviation Administration, and all the volunteers and employees do their best to make sure that that activity is done safely.
Yeah. Final question. I know you just said, it could be years until we have kind of those final answers. How long could it be until we get any kind of preliminary report?
The NTSB should release a preliminary report within 30 days. In that preliminary report, you don't expect a lot of detailed information. Sometimes, for instance, the Learjet that crashed at Scottsdale last year, where the gear came off, that was a pretty illuminating 30-day preliminary report. But that was kind of the exception. Normally, the 30-day report will be just a basic, here's the airplane, here's the environment, here's the time, here's the pilot certification, and those type of details. So I wouldn't expect a lot of detail in the 30-day preliminary report.